A neuron is an electrical excitable cell that integrates and transmits information as part of the nervous system. The fundamental task of a nerve cell or neuron is to receive and transmit signal. Neuron carry signals inward from sense organs such as the eyes and the ears. The neuron consists of dendrites, axon, node of Ranvier, axon terminal, myelin sheath, cell body, and the nucleus. Every neuron consists of a cell body, which contains the nucleus and number of long thin extensions radiating outwards from it. The axon is the long extension which conducts electrical signal away from the cell body towards distant target cells. There are also dendrites, and these dendrites are short branching structures that extends from the surface of the nerve cell and receive signal from other neurons. The nerve terminal is the structure that is at the end of the axon that signals to other neurons or target cells. The node of Ranvier, which is the space between the myelin sheath, allows an action potential to propagate quickly down the axon. Neurons communicate by employing an active signal mechanism. Local electrical stimulus of sufficient strength triggers an explosion of electrical activity in the plasma membrane. This activity propagates rapidly along the membrane of the axon. Hi guys, now that we've learned about the neurons and the parts of the neurons, let's take a deeper look into the axon and the process of action potential.
Action potential occurs when a neuron sends signals down the axon from the cell body. This phenomenon occurs when voltage-gated sodium ions and potassium ions cross the membrane of the neuron. A resting membrane potential is when a neuron is not sending signals. Usually, the inside of the neuron is negative relative to the outside. In addition to the ion channel, there is a pump that uses energy to move 3 sodium ions out of the neuron for every 2 potassium ions. Finally, when all the forces balance at the difference in voltage between the inside and the outside of the cell, this is what is known as a resting potential. The resting membrane potential of a neuron is about -70 millivolts. Action potentials are caused when different ions cross the neuron membrane. A stimulus first causes sodium channels to open. Because there are many more sodium ions on the outside of the cell rather than the inside. Remember, sodium has a positive charge, so the neuron becomes more positive and becomes depolarized. As you can see here, this graph illustrates the action potential of a neuron. Here is the resting membrane potential at -70 millivolts. When a neuron reaches about -55 millivolts, it will fire an action potential, also known as the threshold. At the peak of action potential, sodium ion channels begin to close. It takes long for potassium channels to open, but when they do open, potassium rushes out of the cell, reversing the depolarization. This stage is called repolarization. Also, at about this time, sodium channels start to close. This causes the action potential to go back towards -70 millivolts, or what is known as repolarization. The action potential actually goes past -70 millivolts in what is known as hyperpolarization. This is so because the potassium channels stay open for a bit too long. Gradually, the iron concentrations will go back to its resting levels and the cell will return to negative 70 millivolts, its resting state. Hey guys, hope you had a good time watching our video.